Imagine you were Gordon Ramsay, world-renowned chef, master of your craft. Now also imagine you're Gordon Ramsay, but stuck in Antarctica with only eggs, cigarettes, and bullets to cook with. Hello everyone, Joel Gaming here. Today, I present to you a game where we live this fantasy, trapped in the cold and expected to feed the eccentric masses in Arctic eggs. We begin our penance by meeting a soldier who informs us that this is our last chance to avoid prison by becoming a poultry peddler. Without missing a beat, he then asks us to fry him an egg, where we encounter the core mechanic of the game, frying an egg on both sides by balancing it in a frying pan and flipping accordingly. Seems simple enough. However, this simple mechanic becomes built on quite rapidly as people begin to put their own unusual garnishes in our pan. So much for too many cooks in the kitchen.
Now get the fuck off my expo chef now!
As we make our way into the overworld, we learn of the godlike saint of the six stomachs, who will only grant an audience with us once we feed exactly 27 people. Yeah, I think it's a pretty weird number too. From here, we're off, where we begin cooking for the hungry masses, which gives us the opportunity to be immersed in the game's unique atmosphere and hilarious writing. Beginning with the former, the world created by the developer really hits home the gloomy reality of being stuck in the Arctic without knowing when we'll be able to return home next. In contrast, the comedic writing juxtaposes this depressing set piece by giving us a glimpse into the weirdos they have cooped up in this military base. This balancing of immersion and gut-busting humor is truly a chef's kiss. Mwah! My hat's off to the developers. As we continue to feed the city's inhabitants, we cultivate our cooking chops by chefing up some truly bizarre meals, using ingredients like sardines and cigarettes. Sometimes a lot of them. Before long, we've satiated all the denizens of this first area, prompting us to head into the next part of town, the harbor. From environment to environment, we learned that not only do the areas change, but the ingredients within them as well. Now, instead of cooking cigarette butts, we're cooking blowfish, stingrays, and trout. In this variety emerges one of the game's brilliant and intuitive strategies for introducing difficulty. With different ingredients come different challenges, such as keeping everything in the pan and microwaving certain ingredients before others. As I picked up on this change from one area to the next, it felt very natural, and it developed a sense of progression in the game, even as the core mechanic of the game was largely the same. Within this area, we meet a man who has us cook for him, a fish who delivers us news, and a man who wants to show us a trick with a napkin but quickly decides otherwise as the forces that be advised against it. Afterwards, we make our way to Cafe Mawson, a dance club at the heart of our frozen cityscape. Once inside, people are busting a groove, highlighted by their exaggerated dance movements and entertaining cinematography. Yeah, you tell them. Appropriately, many of them give us beer and cocktail glasses to cook with, where we're tasked with not spilling any other drinks nor melting the ice cubes that they gave us to cook with. Here's that room temperature water you asked for, weirdo.
This one's on the...
Toward the end of this area, the game let me know that I had one more person to feed, but I couldn't find him. After searching for a bit, I found a bar patron who dropped something in the latrine and asked that I go retrieve it. I didn't want to let her down, so I pinched my nose and dove in. What I didn't expect to find, however, was myself at the bottom of the ocean, where a scientist could be found conversing with a dolphin. Following their philosophy session, I cooked an egg, fed it to the hungry whale lurking below, and made my way back to the surface to move to the last area in the game, the prison. Once inside, we're able to offer our culinary skills to prisoners who offer cockroaches, with one in particular wanting his cockroach without the roach part. Similarly, the guards in the prison want their fried eggs with a side of metal as they toss bullets into our frying pan to their amusement. As we wrap up this area, we meet two prisoners who try their best to sync their toilet behaviors and a porpoise-loving admiral before feeding everyone and preparing to meet the saint of six stomachs. Making our way up his tower, we finally meet the brains behind this Arctic operation, or should I say, stomach. To impress our overlord, we cook up one egg after another, slowly but surely filling our frying pan before forsaking our pan and shaking hands with the saint as the credits begin to roll. And that concludes Arctic Eggs. What a fun adventure. This game is phenomenal. To be honest, taking the game at face value, I did not expect there to be much substantive content, and boy was I wrong. This game blew my expectations out of the water in a positive way. Humor on point. Gameplay, simple yet satisfying. Even the story, which is often presented through a comedic lens, has immense depth. This depth is illustrated through the "Can you cook an egg on Mount Everest?" question that is repeated throughout the game. Although we can take this question literally, as instanced by the after credits scene where we crash land on Mount Everest and grab a chicken, it seems there is a metaphorical interpretation as well. This is supported by one of the characters in the prison who argues that making ideas more accessible for others reduces their meaning, using the analogy of eroding a mountain to a valley, where grandiosity is substituted for superficial understanding. Now, to be fully honest, I don't understand the context in which the analogy is referring to, but this suggests that the world of Arctic Egg has more than meets the eye. Excellent game. All in all, a super memorable experience. What's even cooler is that even after beating the game, there's a sandbox mode where you can experiment with different recipes and unlock achievements that include cooking 12 sausages at once, cooking bugs with cocktail glasses, and cooking minimum 10 bullets alongside an egg. Through trials and tribulations, I was able to blue ribbon the game, and I can confidently say that it has my seal of approval. Definitely check it out if you're interested, and a huge thank you to everyone who worked on the game for creating such an entertaining experience. Similarly, thank you for watching. Games like Arctic Eggs characterize what I like to call the current indie game renaissance that we're experiencing right now, and I'm all for it, which includes helping share these titles with you, the viewer. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as well as commenting on your favorite part of the video if you had one, or your interpretation of the game's story. Now, I'm off to go fry my dinner of cigarettes and cockroaches. This is Joel Gaming, signing off.